Okay, we're going to cut the remainder of the pineapple. My husband was concerned that I was blocking too much of the camera angle, so I switched sides. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that core piece again. Cut that out of the way. And then again, you're trying to get the knife on an angle going around the rind without taking too much of the thicker part with you. Now this side had some brown spots, so we're going to cut those out as we go. Nothing fun about eating that. I don't know what the specific names are of the sides or the pieces of the pineapple, but needless to say, I will do what I can to get rid of all anything that's dark or hard here. Remember to always cut safely. You should always have your fingers where you have sort of knuckles forward or tips of your fingers down. I don't know the best way to say that, but just want to point that out. You never want to cut this way where you're leaving your fingers exposed in case, God forbid, you should slip with the knife. I know that was hard to see from the other angle, so I just want to make sure that I pointed that out. Whoops! We always said we're pampered, not perfect. Okay, my dog will be over shortly to lick that part of the floor. Anyway, once again, you know, if you're going to take the time to cut this, cut it the way you would eat it now, so no one has to go back and cut pieces smaller later. I try to cut them nice and thin, small enough, one bite size kind of thing. Otherwise, if I want to put any of these in the smoothie, I can, and so on. When I was mentioning before the thing about the salt, there's something about the salt that neutralizes the acid that causes that uncomfortable feeling in your mouth. So, again, if you have a tendency to react to it, just give that a try. First time I ever learned about that, I was in Hawaii. They did it again when we were in French Polynesia on our honeymoon. And you know what? Whoops. They know what they're talking about. All right. So we're just going to... I got to say something. This was just perfect. This has been sitting on the counter for almost a week. And, you know, I read a lot of stuff online, and I'm not a food expert. I'm just about a lot of trial and error. And it was interesting to read that there are countless people who say on the internet that pineapple does not ripen as it sits out. Once it's been cut, that's it. Well, the fact of the matter is it gets sweeter in flavor. It's sort of like what happens with bananas. The thing is, you just can't let it go too long. You don't want it to rot. And it's a very fine line between ripening and over-ripening when it comes to pineapple. So be careful. This literally was perfect. Neil was concerned that it was sitting for too long. I got to tell you, it is just an absolute decadent flavor. The dark parts actually are not even going to be that bad. I'm just going to put them in the smoothie. They'll blend in. There's all that juice there. And I'm not going to do the very last section because I'm not going to take up all your time, but I do want to show you something. When you get to the point where you're down and you see all those, what I call the eyes, basically, that's the hardest part. I give up there, but there's still a lot of juice in the rind, and this is what I will do. I will just squeeze it right over my bowl, and you can see how much juice comes out of that. That's a fair amount, and I want every last piece of that goodness. So I'm going to try to just squeeze everything I can out of there and maintain that in my bowl. That is just divine. All right, everything that we cut up will go into our compost in the morning. And otherwise, I really hope that you give cutting pineapple a try. Of course, we do have a pineapple wedger, but I've been cutting pineapple for over 40 years, and I didn't need a wedger, so I figured I'd show you how I've always been doing it. Anyway, thanks again. Have a good one.